can see the tree, it is, right now, you can see where the things that we have to work on, I have to work on, everything coming from that one area, everything being very thick here, having the big, wound that you have over here. Again, large, big, thick branch coming straight up from the tree. Another one back here, which makes the apex. But you don't really have a good finish out on the apex either. So things over time that you're going to have to work on, but not things that you have to worry about right this minute, because right now what you're wanting to do is you want to try to at least show what you have for the club show, and just show off your tree really. And so what we want to do then, this is kind of the interesting part of the tree right here. And so what we want to do is we want to take the foliage and sort of kind of fill in the space and kind of make the whole tree, make the composition a whole composition, as opposed to right now we're looking at this and then we look at this. It's almost like it's two separate areas. This is really cool, but it's not cohesive between the two, between the foliage and this. Okay? There's not a lot of wire that we're going to be using to pull a lot of things down, but we are going to do some wiring. And the best way to do that would be just to use one wire to wire out two branches. So use very minimal wiring to try to show off the tree. So you want to just, I guess, strategically wire the tree. Okay? So I'm going to turn it around this way, which is not in front of your camera, but so that it faces me, so that I can see what I'm doing. So you're welcome to stand behind me or what have you, so that you can see what I'm doing. So if you look at the front of the tree, so this is the front of the tree here. And another thing, whenever you repot your tree, remember not to pot the tree dead center. Okay? So if your tree has movement to the right, you offset it a little bit to the left. So you have a little bit of negative space on the right. If the tree moves to the left, you do the opposite. Okay? So I think eventually what I would like to see, I know you like this area right here in front, but I would probably turn it a little bit more this way. Okay? Because here, right here, you don't really see that this single branch comes out. It hides it if you just are just off just a little bit. You see how that you can't see that anymore. It's back here. You don't really see this curving branch that sticks back out this way. And you're trying to hide the imperfections of the tree a bit. So if you do that, and then you can work on improving the nabari here, so that you have better nabari, coming out, fingerlets coming out through here that will also hide and keep your eyes away from that part of the tree that's not quite as appealing, okay? From this angle also, it looks like the branch is coming off of the side in the right place over here. So, you can do that, just make just a very little turn, and makes a huge, huge difference. You don't even have to turn it quite that much, just enough to where it looks like the branch is coming somewhere in the back. You don't really even almost know where it's coming from. It just looks cool. Okay? Which also then means that this branch could be pulled eventually this way to fill this space right here, so that you don't have a gap. Okay? So that you can use it here to fill in here, but bring it this way to fill in this space as well. Okay? And then this becomes then more a back branch instead of a primary branch, and again, makes it even less noticeable. Okay?
Background.
Yep, it kind of becomes more background. So then you can start kind of working on the small stuff that's going off of here and trying to create branches here. And you could even use this upper portion to make a branch here, or eventually these will grow out enough that you can make a branch here and cut this all back. Okay? So that you don't have that thickness anymore. So you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of options for the future of the tree. It's just, you have a lot of stuff growing out from the base here that are going to make the new branching for the future of the tree, and you'll be able to make a really nice, fine bonsai with a lot of branch structure and have it fill out the entirety of the tree, so they complement each other. Okay. So right now, though, we're here, okay? So what do we need to do here to try to make the tree presentable for a show? So one of the first things I want to do is I want to put a little bit of wire and start bringing some of these branches this way to sort of fill the space and fill the silhouette of the space a little bit. I know you talked about having guide wires, but guide wires are not very pretty during an exhibition. So we're not going to be able to wire them too much, but we can wire like a specific branch this way, or things like that, and maybe this branch a little bit more this way, so it starts to kind of fill in this space. Okay? Efficient.
You would use the same wire from 2 branches.
Yeah, and that's actually rule of thumb for everything. Anytime that you're wiring, you want to try to use one wire to wire 2 places. So you add your wire in at least 1.5 turns around one side, and then that way it's holding on to something. It's braced nicely so that you can use it to yes, I want to foliage. That's good. Also, the best time of year to really wire your deciduous and most of your deciduous and evergreens and such is going to be kind of toward after the growing season. So in May, June, when everything all the new growth has hardened off, that's really the best time. There's not as much fluid running through the branches, so you stand less of a risk of, snapping anything. Right now, things are very full of fluid because everything is in growing season, so you have to get all the, the tree is asking for all of this water and for all these nutrients to come up to feed all this new growth. And so you want to be careful when you do a lot of wiring, because if you wire too much, you can easily snap branches. You smiling and shaking your head going, yep, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah, and unfortunately those branches don't make it, right? It's
they don't make it because what you've done is you've actually just completely snapped them. And so they are no longer usable after that. Just by turning that branch a little bit towards us, a little bit, you can kind of see that it's now filled out. So from up here to here, you kind of see, I'm going to put another wire here to bring this down so that then you can see kind of it's starting to stair step. Okay? Again, I'm not doing a lot of wiring. I'm not going to do a lot of intensive wiring. This is just so it can look, decent for this particular show. And I encourage you, even if you don't have this amazing tree necessarily to show at an exhibit, but your club exhibit is a place where you kind of show off the fruits of your labor. I've been working really hard at growing branches like here on this tree, and now I've done it and I want to kind of show that off. I think it's a good place for you to do that, because every time that you show off your tree, you want it to look a little bit better every time that you show it off. So say you don't show it again next year, but you show it in 4 years again. Then it'll be fuller, it'll have new branches. You'll look at the pictures and you'll say, check it out, I really made this change and it looks really good. So I definitely encourage you to use that exhibition as a venue to help you improve your own trees and help you develop your own trees. Okay? And just with 2 little branches, and already, if you can already see a difference, then you're doing the right thing, right? You're cleaning it off, and you're making kind of those little clean pads so that you can see the pads as you move up the tree. Okay, so I'm going to put a little wire here. This is going to be maybe something we might have to cut back a little bit, just so it combines, and we may not be able to cut it back too much, so it just looks a little fuller. Right now we're looking at just getting that silhouette in for the exhibit. Okay, just getting that silhouette. and looking at it, really from the front to make sure that we're showcasing what we want to showcase.
Which of the juice would you say is the best way to go about a lead for this?
A leader, like a new leader for the tree?
So I have like all this, like this one.
As far as the apex is concerned. Okay, yeah. So I think that coming through here and using this as the upper portion of the apex is great. And then you would use these branches around it to bring the new branches for the sides, because you have to have like a primary and then everything else kind of follows. A lot of times people will use like more than one to kind of fill in the space for an apex. But I think that you can cut this back to here and use this foliage through here and whatever grows behind it like this to kind of fill up this space here, so that I don't think that you really need two, especially since this one is so much thicker than this other one. You probably don't want to accentuate the fact that this is that much thicker. Eventually I think you want to cut that back and use whatever grows behind it. And then also you're going to need back branching, so maybe, you might use something else back here like this to be your back branch in this area. And this back branch will eventually replace a lot of the upper portion of this right here. Okay? So all those smaller ones closer into the tree, especially the stuff that's growing real close into the tree, those are really important branches. You don't want to touch those. You want to make sure that those stay, because those are the future of your tree. Okay? So now, I think we need to move this over just a little bit, maybe this way, so it's not in your face and you can see this part of the tree. Okay? And that way it blends with this over here. Okay? So you want to have this kind of making a pad. So I'm going to move that over just a little bit. You can probably bring this one down to fill in that area and then cut this one back.
Too tall, that one, right?
Yeah, this one back here is too tall. Okay. And we don't have anything over here to fill out any space, so that also if I bring this down, it doesn't look quite as bushy here. You see?
It's really nice with this. So this is really hiding that cup right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so you want to try to kind of hide it just a little bit. I mean, there's not a whole lot of we can do to really hide that. I mean, I can cut it back more and try to blend it. Both of these, instead of having it be a straight cut, both of these branches are long enough for it to be cut better, so that it's not a nub anymore. And just whittle it slowly. I mean, don't go too fast.
And here is the tree. So I just love the way it looks. And Sylvia Smith, she was able to move some branches and make it a lot better. She had me remove the wire that I had put on it, which of course it wasn't the best. And it was just too symmetrical. But I think everything came out pretty nice, and I found this pretty cool moss. It's just beautiful. So yep, this is pretty much it for this video. So in about 3 weeks, this is going to be going into the show, and I'll be doing its last little refinement just to get it ready for the show. But I really do appreciate you guys sticking to the end. Please subscribe, share, and you have an amazing day.